Hey guys, I hope you've been having a wonderful day. Today we're going to be ranking my favorite Pokemon from each generation. Now, I saw this from an Alpha Red video, so I was like, why not? And just like steal it, copy paste. Um, well, for the most part, well, just the idea. I searched it up and it's just like a whole list of people. So I'm not really ripping off him specifically, more like everybody. Yeah, so we're gonna go ahead and get started. For the most part, from all the videos that I've done on YouTube and then on my own time, I've used a lot of Pokemon and changed my mind about a lot of Pokemon. So I have new favorites now, and I'm just ready to show you guys. Out of all the options, I honestly gotta say that Eradicate's my guy. Like it's so clutch if you do like Nuzlocke or just like in general, and you need something to do like a good amount of damage. Like low-key Eradicate is your guy. And look, he's a little chunky too. Like how can you hate that? Let's be real. Fire type. Honestly, if I'm being like completely honest, I'm probably gonna have to go Arcanine. It's just a classic. Like I always wanted to use it as a kid. I mean, it always sucked that you couldn't get Flamethrower, but I mean, it was still pretty cool. All right, water type. So we got a lot of options here, and I'm trying to keep the starters separated. I'm gonna have to go Poliwrath. I just think it's kind of fun, and it's just like a big circle with hands and feet. I mean, I just can't hate it. Ooh, this one's an easy one. I really liked Victory Bell. I don't know. I just not much to say really. Now electric types. I'm gonna have to say Jolteon. You know, as a kid picking one of the Eevees, I always pick Jolteon because to me that one always looked the coolest. So I'm probably gonna have to go with that one. Ice types. Actually, who am I kidding? I gotta go with Cloyster. No particular reason, but when I finally used it, I thought it was fun. So yeah, why not? Fighting type. This one's easy. This is easily Primeape. I remember using this in Kanto runs and just having a lot of fun with it. And yeah, there's not much else to say. Poison type. I feel like it's kind of too generic if I say Nidoking just because of how broken it is. But I think I'm gonna have to say probably Tentacruel. It's like a turd. It's like a freaking Zubat, but in water. And it's pretty strong too. Our ground types, and if you don't know, I recently did a run in Gen 2, and by far my favorite Pokemon has to be Graveler. Graveler was so clutch to me during that whole run. I was pretty hyped, if I do say so myself. Like this was by far my most reliable Pokemon for a hot minute, and it overall still mattered towards the end of the game. So I gotta go with Graveler. Flying type. Okay, I'm gonna have to go with Pidgeot, and simply because Pharaoh's ugly looking. I did not like Golbat at the time. I really like Crobat, but I can't say I like Golbat. I don't really like Farfetch'd. Don't really like these. I'm gonna put this one as my bug type. Honestly, I don't even count that as a flying type if I'm being honest. And if you've seen one of my beginning videos, you know that I hate Aerodactyl with a passion. And if you check my Twitter, which I hardly post on there, I apologize. I like completely bash him in my bio. So if you want to follow me on there, go ahead. Psychic. Yeah, Starmie. I did a Nuzlocke on this in Heart Gold and Soul Silver, and it was an absolute beast. So definitely loving that one. Bug type, that one has to go to Scyther. This one was just a classic, and when it came to like completing Pokédexes and stuff, having a Scyther was elite and whatnot. And it was kind of fun, even though it didn't really have that much going on with it. Alright, this one's gonna have to go to Kabuto, and simply because I saw Pokemon Origins for the first time, and I saw that Red had one. It just looks so cool to me, and yeah, that's the only reason. Other than that, it's like pretty trash. Like it doesn't know anything crazy. Yeah, it's just not good. But I like the design more than anything. Ghost, there's not really a lot of options here. It's all from the same line. But if I'm getting specific, it has to be Haunter, simply because I couldn't trade as a kid, so Haunter would be like as far as I could get. And yeah, I'd probably say that one. I don't know. Me personally, I thought they all sucked just because it took forever to level it up to a Dragonite. But if I had to choose out of the three, obviously, as much as I hate to admit it, it has to be Dragonite. Steel, out of these two, I think I like the Magnemite more just because very simple, but it gets to the point. It's just a straight up magnet. Well, there was no fairy types at the time, but if I had to pick one, I'm probably gonna go with Jigglypuff. Starter Pokemon, I'm a water guy. Okay, I love Blastoise, I love Squirtle, I love Wartortle. Like, I don't know, I feel like it just like, yeah, it's just really good. Legendary, Zapdos, simply because it just looks cool. Now, out of all of these, it's really hard to say which one is my favorite, but honestly, I'm probably just gonna have to go with the starter. Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm boring, but it's just true, okay? All right, moving on to Gen 2, and we got our normal types. I gotta go with Ursaring. If you watch the show Diamond and Pearl, you know that Paul was a turd, and he had an Ursaring so strong, and that's the only reason why I love it so much. Alright, so when it comes to fire types, I mean, we're not really working with a lot. Like I said, I'm trying to keep the starters separate, legendaries separate, so there's only really like 2 to 3 options here. So, yeah, I'd say that Houndoom's my favorite, even though you can't even get it until the end of the game, which is absolute butt, by the way. Water type. Now, for the longest time, I thought Poliwrath was 2nd generation, and it's not, so that's a little funny. But I'm gonna have to go for Wooper. Like, he's just my guy, you know? I remember grabbing it for the first time and evolving it, and it turned into this little sucker right here. I genuinely laughed. I was like, this dude's a little funny looking. And yeah, that's why Quagsire's my boy. And if you've seen my Gen 2 run, Gushers was crazy. Alright, grass type. Sunflower, it's just so goofy looking. Like, there's nothing good about it, but I mean, all these Pokemon kind of suck to me. I think this one looks the best. Electric has to be Ampharos. It's just a classic. I played Gold, and having one was just an absolute necessity. It was a must, okay? It was a must. Ice types, not really a fan of any of these. I think Sneasel was pretty cool, even though it sucked. This one's an obvious Heracross. Poison, this has to go to Crobat. I remember hating Zubat, the whole Zubat line for the longest time, but ever since I got a Crobat one time, it was just an absolute beast, and yeah, I just genuinely enjoyed it. Now for ground type, I would honestly do Quagsire again, but just to change it up, I'm probably gonna have to go with Steelix. Design wise, it's probably just like the coolest one out of all of them, and you can't even get these two until like the absolute end of the game, so like it's not as fun. I'm probably gonna have to go for Murkrow because I just really like Honchkrow, and Murkrow is still pretty cool of a Pokemon, and I kind of hate everything else if I'm being completely honest. Psychic, I think this one's an easy Espeon. It's absolutely broken if you wait long enough for the friendship to go up to actually do it. It is a little tedious, but once you get past that, it's an absolute joy. Bug type, Ariados, I think it's just a little fun. It absolutely sucks when you get it, and honestly, it doesn't get any better. Rock type, and this is simply because in the overworld, he just looks like a little tree. It has to be Sudowoodo. I just think he's a little funky guy. And I think you'll notice a pattern where, like, if I don't use a certain Pokemon out of the bunch, I'll usually just pick the funky looking one. Ghost type, not much of an option, but I did use a Mischievous, and it was pretty okay. I guess I don't have a choice, but I guess it's Kingdra. And if we're going for dark types, I'm gonna have to go for Umbreon. I think that's just a basic one, but it's so true, so tanky. That's how I was able to beat Lance the first couple times that I played Gen 2. Now for steel types, I'm gonna have to go with Scissor. It's just so cool. You don't get Skarmory until late game. Fortress, honestly, I didn't even know you could get one, if I'm being completely honest. I didn't really get the chance to use it. I did get the chance to use both of these because I can trade with myself because I do have 2 DSs, but I'd say that Scissor was probably the funnest. Fairy type, I think it has to be Grand Bull. I used it in one of my recent playthroughs of Gen 2, and I had an absolute blast with it. I wouldn't put it as normal, but they have it here, so I might as well just put it, I guess. Starter Pokemon, if it wasn't obvious enough from the first one, it has to be my boy Feraligatr. Just a classic to me, and it's just so well done to me. I'm probably gonna have to say Ho-Oh because I think this was one of the first legendary Pokemon that I actually caught for like the very first time. So I'm probably gonna have to go with that one. I say my least favorite one has to be Raikou. It was such a turd to find and try to catch. But out of all these, which one is my favorite? I'm trying not to say my starter Pokemon because I want to click it so bad. I'm gonna say that my favorite Pokemon is gonna be Umbreon, just because I've used it so many more times than all these Pokemon that I'm showing you right now. And yeah, like overall, I'm pretty happy about it. If I'm being completely honest. Going on to Gen 3. All right, for normal types, it has to be this version of whatever the heck you call this thing, a slack off. Fire types, I'm gonna have to say Camerupt. I just think it's a really cool Pokemon, like a camel that can like shoot fire. Like, how is that not cool, you know? Ooh, okay, water types. There's a lot of water types and a lot of contenders. Probably Sharpedo. If I'm being honest, it was really fun, very fast, hit hard, fragile. That thing was, it felt like a Weedle at times, but I really liked it. Grass type, I don't know. I think they all suck. All right, who am I kidding? Who am I kidding? Breloom's a classic. Okay, I always used it as a kid because it could do like Sky Uppercut. It was crazy. Electric, I guess it's kind of obvious, but it's gonna have to be this one. Okay, ice types. Honestly, simply because Ash had it and I thought it was cool, I'm gonna have to go for Glalie. Fighting type, I'm gonna have to go with Hariyama. I hate its design. I think it's the ugliest thing ever, but it was pretty cool and pretty fun when I used it. Poison type, Swalot. Ground type, I love me my ground type Pokemon. I'm probably gonna go with Wishcash. And I didn't use it in Gen 3. I used it in the remakes for Diamond and Pearl, but I thought it was fun. It sucked, but I liked how it looked, so I kept it. Out of all these flying types, I hate Pelipper with a passion. So I think I'm gonna have to go for Swellow. Just a classic, you know, you get it in the early routes and it does justice. Psychic, I recently did a run. Finally used Gardevoir for the first time. Because like I would always kind of skip it because I was like, I could care less. When I used it, it's an absolute beast. Like if you let it like set up Calm Minds or something, it's over. It's one-shotting everything. Bug type, Armaldo. I just thought it was cool fossil Pokemon as a kid. And yeah, that's about it. I don't use this Pokemon anymore because when I used it in Mega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, it wasn't as good. I don't know if I'm just like tripping or not, but I'm about to say Aggron. Okay, so for ghost types, I really like using Sableye. Dragon types, I'm gonna have to say, I love Flygon HG. Love his videos. So for that reason, I'll click Flygon. Dark type has to go to my boy Crawdaunt. It was such clutch when I was playing only using dark type Pokemon. Thought it was great. Well, I kind of played myself because I already picked Aggron or something, and I didn't even know you could actually get a Beldum until recently. So for that reason alone, I'm gonna have to go with Mawile. I think it's an okay Pokemon. Not good, but it's okay. My only option is a Zoom. Well, this little thing, I forget which one this one's called. But it's okay. It's a cute Pokemon. Favorite starter? I'm kind of choked in between this one because I really like Marshtomp, but I really love Sceptile. It's so hard to choose. I think I'm gonna do it, and I'm gonna say Sceptile is probably my favorite one. Legendary. Now this one's tough. No, it's not. It's Latios. Simply because I used it more than any of these legendaries you see here. Most people would probably pick Rayquaza or maybe Groudon, but nah, I'm gonna go for Latios. Now this one's interesting because I have a lot of favorite Pokemon. I really like Sceptile a lot, but out of all of these, I'm probably gonna have to go with Camarant. It's just such a classic to me. Plus, Ash had a Corphish, and that alone is enough. You know what I mean? Alright, Gen 4, probably the generation I've played the least, and if you noticed, I haven't done a challenge on it, and I don't plan to just yet. For the normal type, I'm gonna have to say Munchlax, simply because I got some insane luck, and when I was slathering trees to complete the Pokédex, I got Munchlax like my first batch. It was crazy. I was on like my third tree and it popped up. It was actually insane. I was losing my mind. Fire types, I'm gonna have to say Magmortar. This dude just looks like the devil. You know what I mean? Like this man looks like he actually kills people for a living. I really like this beaver. Simply because as a kid, a lot of people would call me a beaver because my two front teeth are like really big. I mean, my teeth are still pretty big, but like since all my adult teeth came in, kind of like evened it out and stuff. But that's not the reason why I like it. That's part of the reason why I like it. And just because I really don't like slugs, and not a fan of these guys. This thing is butt. Not a fan of this little guy. I never got the opportunity to use this thing, so unfortunately I can't say I love it. So yeah, that's pretty much why I picked the beaver. Grass type, honestly I'm gonna have to go with Roserade. It's just such a cool looking Pokemon. I don't know, it might be obvious, it might not be obvious, but it has to be Electivire. Simply because, like I mentioned, for Ursaring, Paul was a menace, and my god, my favorite Pokemon that he had was Electivire. Alright, I think I'm gonna have to go for Mamoswine just because Dawn had one, and I thought it was like a really fun Pokemon. It was super big, beefy, and I really like Ice Age, so I really like Mammoths in general. So I think I'm gonna have to go with that one. Fighting type, specifically Croagunk. Bro, the freaking beef between Brock's Croagunk and that one Team Galactic dude's shiny, whatever the heck this one's called. Poison, probably Drapion. Ground types, probably a Hippopotas. Simply because I think Garchomp is overrated. Like I said, I don't really like the slugs. I don't even know what the heck that is. They done butchered my boy Rhyhorn. Like, I don't even know what the heck that is. I actually used a Gliscor and it was butt. So I'm gonna have to go for Hippopotas. Flying type, probably gonna have to go for Honchkrow. Not much else. Psychic, ugly but pretty dope. Bug type, I think all these suck, but I gotta give it to Yanmega. In Heart Gold Soul Silver, you can get one, and I used it for the Pokeleathon. Fantastic Pokemon. I'm probably gonna have to go with this one. When Ash fought the Rock type gym leader, I thought that guy was pretty cool, so I'm gonna go with this little guy. So I actually got a chance to use this one. I think it's called a Dusknoir. Dragon type, not much of an option, but if I'm gonna go for these three, it has to go with Gibble. Ash had a Gibble. I don't know why he never evolved it, but Gibble was a fun one. Dark type, I'm probably, wait, this a pickle. I guess this one. Steel types, I'm gonna have to go with Magnezone. I don't know if a certain person is gonna watch this or not, but you know who you are. And I made fun of you for having a Magnezone because I was like, who uses that thing? Well, I used it and it was an absolute blast, but I'm never gonna admit it to that person. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go with Magnezone. Fairy, I guess Togekiss. Favorite starter? Empoleon. It's just, I don't know, people call it a whack design, but I think it's phenomenal. Legendary, well, I don't really like any of these if I'm being completely honest. I thought Palkia was pretty cool. This one is so tough. I'm having a really hard time, but as much as I like Electivire, I use Magmortar way more and thought it was fun as crap, so I'm probably gonna have to go with that one. Gen 5 is by far my favorite generation of all time, so this is gonna be very fun. What even is this? These can't even be real Pokemon. What the heck is that? Well, anyways, it has to be Herdier. No, Scoutland, excuse me. This thing is so freaking broken. It's so good. It's such a good Pokemon. Fire types, I'ma have to go with Chandelure. Such a cool, strong Pokemon. I lied. Darmanitan. This man's a one-punch machine. We're going for water types. I'm probably gonna go for Seismitoad. It's super ugly. Ash had a Plapitoad and it was pretty good, pretty fun. But I grew to like Seismitoad. Alright, grass types. Alright, fine. A lot of people give hate to this, but I actually kind of like the elemental monkeys. They were fun, very versatile, and I just overall, they weren't as bad as people made it seem. But if they did have a bad nature, yeah, it was gonna be rough. I'm gonna have to go for Garvantula, maybe. I think that's what it's called. Yeah, I'm probably gonna have to go with this one. Ice types, that's an easy one. Beartic, solid. I know it's just a bear with like a icicle beard, but like, why hate? You know what I mean? Like, this is amazing. I don't care what nobody says. If we're going for fighting type, it has to be my boy Scrafty. This thing is an absolute beast, and like, when it comes to the Elite Four, this man's slapping everything in sight. It was amazing. Amazing Pokemon. Poison type, I'm gonna have to go for Scolipede. Ground type, this one's tough. Not tough at all. By far, my favorite one is Crocodile. Ash's Sandile up to a Crocodile was an absolute beast. Flying type, if I'm being completely honest, I think Swanna was probably my favorite. So I'm gonna have to go for Solosis. When I used it, it was super fragile, but my goodness, did this thing land? Absolute beast. Bug type, I'm gonna have to go with Excavalier. I had the chance to evolve it and absolutely loved it. To me, this one's a super easy one, and it has to be Crustal. Wait, what type is this? Rock type? Yeah. Silent had one, and he made it look so cool. I used one myself and thought it was great. Ghost types, I already used Chandelure, and I thought Jellicent was a cool Pokemon. I didn't really use it too much, but when I did, it was kind of fun. All right, this one I have a tough time, but just because it's easier to find and less of a haggle to train and evolve, I'm probably gonna have to go with Haxorus. Like, it was terrible. Like, I did a living dex, and these were my nightmares. I know in order to get this one, I saved up all the rare candies you could get like throughout the whole game, and just like spammed it until it evolved. I really like dark types. This generation had probably one of my favorite dark types of all time, and I know I already used two. Maybe I could change it. Yeah, I'm gonna change it. All right. I'm gonna do oh, this is tough. Did I use it? No, I didn't use it already. Okay. Ooh, I was like, I'm struggling here. Okay, I changed my mind. For ground types, I'm gonna pick this one. I forget the name, but it's this one. Dark type, Crocodile, and Ferrothorn for steel type. Oh, this turns into a fairy type? Out of these two, Whimsicott's the cooler one. Favorite starter, I really love Superior. I really do. But I'm a Samurott type of dude. Legendaries? Probably Reshiram. Now this is tough, because these are like all my favorite Pokemon. Like, favorite, not like choosing it because I don't have one. These are like my favorite Pokemon, but Crocodile just hits different. All right, so I'm gonna have to change the title to generations 1 through 5. And if you want to see more videos like this, like the video, comment something that you want to see more or something. Subscribe. Thank you for watching. I really appreciate it, and I hope you have a wonderful day. See ya.